You've got a fire in your belly, a passion to serve, and an insatiable drive to contribute. You know that if you can just get your message in front of the right people, you can change lives. But where to start? There are so many options, so many moving pieces. You get bogged down, overwhelmed, frustrated, while the burning desire to serve others consumes you. I know, I've been there. And these days I bring life-changing impact and value to people's lives through the creation of books, funnels, online courses and coaching programs, and virtual summits. This is the Call to Serve podcast. I'm Tim Cooper, and this is my journey. I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make when they start to go out and share their message is they imitate the people that they respect and admire. In other words, if you like Tony Robbins or some other great speaker, you go out and you sort of try to impersonate them, you try to imitate them, you study their mannerisms and the way they talk, and then you go out there and you present, but you're not presenting as yourself. You as I said, you're trying to be somebody you're not, because you think that the way that they communicate, the way they teach is better than what you can do. And nothing can be further from the truth. As I record this episode, probably my favourite presenter at the moment is Myron Golden. And Myron just lays down these gold nuggets and this wealth of information. He's just got a way of presenting that just brings so much clarity and inspiration. But if I went out, if I came here and tried to present in the same way Myron did, I would firstly sound stupid, because there'd just be no way that I can present stuff the way he does. So I'd look stupid. I wouldn't be myself, and I would come across as inauthentic, and I wouldn't get my message across because people would see that I was trying to be something or somebody that I'm not. Now, that being said, there's nothing wrong with being inspired by the people, and there's nothing wrong with sharing the wisdom that you've learned from others. And there's nothing wrong with taking the wisdom you've learned from others and rewrapping it into your own experience and sharing that. And that's what you should do. Okay, so throughout this podcast, you'll hear me referring to a lot of great people that I admire and respect, like Myron Golden. Okay, but if I refer to something that I've learned from Myron Golden, I'm going to say, this is where I've learned it from. I've actually learned this from Myron Golden, and this is how it's affected my life. This is how it impacted me and carried on. So always give credit where credit's due. So you don't have to imitate, you don't have to pretend to be someone or something you're not to bring empowerment. It's so important to find your own voice and be yourself and share your experiences. And this is something that I tell my coaching students all the time. When they say, Tim, I'd like to create content on this topic, but there's already so much content out there on that. And I go, good, because competition is healthy. If there's competition out there, it means that there's a market out there. There's that you're creating something that is in demand. That's great. And now you bring your voice to that. Now you bring your personal experience to that. Be your unique self, your unique message. Now, I've been studying marketing, I've been really immersed in marketing now for 7 years. And I have read many, many, many marketing books. And way sort of back when I first started sort of doing this, there was this thing saying, learn, do, teach. So learn something new, apply it, get some success from it, and then teach it, because your real learning and mastery comes from action and then contribution. So you learn something and then you put it to work and then you teach it, but you don't just teach it by mimicking and imitating and repeating verbatim what you learned out of that book or watching that video. You teach from a perspective of your personal experience, like how you took that information. And so always give credit where credit's due. Always say, where you learnt this from or who you learnt it from, right? Never try to say, I do all this stuff and I'm great and this is my invention. So always do that, but make it your own. Wrap it in your own experience. That's what makes the difference. So that's why you must find your own voice and share your own voice and be yourself. Be vulnerable. Throughout this episode, I'm sharing the stuff that works, that doesn't work, the stuff that's almost knocked me over, the stuff that picks me up. I'm standing in my truth. Now you are seeing Tim Cooper. I'm not pretending to be anything other than who I am. And simply by doing that, people will relate to you and they'll see that you are real and sincere and authentic. And when they see that you're real, sincere and authentic, they'll also start to trust you and they'll start to listen to you. So this is what I say to my coaching students is that, when you're teaching something, like I've read many, many marketing books. I've done many, many marketing courses, and I basically hear the same information over and over and over again. And I'm basically probably delivering the same information that you have no doubt heard before. But sometimes when you hear it from another perspective or from another person or from another person's experience, you go, bing, That has happened to me so many times. So I've seen this in so many books. I've heard this from so many speakers. And then one speaker gets up and just puts it a different way, just puts it in a different wrapper. And it's like, oh, man. And I don't know whether it's because of that or because when I first heard the message, I wasn't ready for it, and now I am. I mean, there's so many variables there, but the point is that when people come to you, they come to you for your voice. So don't pretend to be somebody else, right? The uniqueness that you bring to your audience, the value that you bring to your audience is you. It's you. And nobody else can be you, and you shouldn't try to be anybody else but you. Okay? That is the key. I mean, there's really, outside of new things coming in like new inventions and everything else, when it comes to marketing, like I'm reading books that are 50, 60 years old, and when it comes to human psychology and that sort of stuff, people really haven't changed since they were sitting around campfires, even before they had written language, learning through stories and that sort of stuff. Human psychology really hasn't changed. The platforms and vehicles of bringing messages to people have changed. I can look over the years and maybe radio and then TV and then internet or ads, like you used to go to the movie or the good old drive-in movie and there were ads up on the movie screens, and then we came into the internet age, and then YouTube became the new TV and Facebook. So all these things change. So the vehicle through the delivery of the message changes, but your message really doesn't have to change regardless of the vehicle in it, and you should be able to just take your message and just put it onto any platform that's here today or that's coming tomorrow. And by simple fact of changes within the available platform shouldn't change the way that you communicate. And another very important point I want to stress here is, I said, going back years ago when they said this learn, do, teach, I found a lot of times that people skip that middle step and they go learn, teach. So they read a book or watch a training program, And then they turn around and they try to teach it themselves. And once again, they're just relating what they've just learned, which probably isn't bad. It's probably helping them get clearer on what they've just learned, but it's not really helping the person on the other end, because you're not bringing anything new. You're not bringing your personal perspective, your experience. You've got to do that. And how do you develop your voice? How do you get confident? How do you, feel good in your own skin? And it's just by doing this. I mean, you just do it over and over and over again, like daily podcasts, streaming on social media, creating videos, just speaking and testing your stories and testing your message and just putting it out there over and over and over again. And you'll just get better and better and better. And you will, it will be you, okay? It will be you. It's so important, okay? So that's really what I wanted to share with you today, because I said I do have coaching clients and do group coaching calls, and this is sometimes where people get hung up, especially when it comes to creating courses or programs, saying there's already stuff out there, Tim, and I'm saying, well, if you find stuff out there, that's good. Now just put it into your own words, put it into your own experience. I spent a lot of time teaching face-to-face in classroom settings. I used to be the director of communications at a local natural health college, and I used to teach the business and marketing modules there, but as along with remedial techniques and that sort of stuff. So I spent a lot of time at the whiteboard, teaching, talking, and and it's just generating my voice, right? And even when I was teaching, because I'd spent so much time in the industry that I was teaching about, I was still sharing my experience. So my students were learning a unique perspective. They weren't learning something out of a textbook. They were learning something that I could talk from personal experience. I could say, this works, this doesn't. So important. So just get out there and share your experiences. You have no idea the impact you will have on people's lives when you just be yourself, be authentic, and share and help. Okay, so that's it for today's message. Is once again, don't try to imitate. You can be inspired by great speakers. You can be inspired by great messages, but do not imitate. Do not try to be anybody other than yourself, because you will come across inauthentic and your message will fall short because you will lack that connection with your audience. So once again, I still haven't got around to creating the website for this particular podcast, but until I do, if you're watching this on YouTube and you find value in what I'm sharing, please hit the subscribe button and the bell, maybe the thumbs up. And if you've got a question or feedback, maybe just drop them into the comments. If you're listening to this on another podcast platform, please follow the show. And if there's a way on that platform for you to reach out and message me, please do so. Otherwise, you can always reach out to me at tim@timcooper.au. That's tim@timcooper.au, because as I've said, as I'm sharing my journey, I want to help you in yours. So that's it. Who knows what I'm going to bring you tomorrow? I said, this is a daily podcast. It's not batched, it's not queued. I shoot these every day as inspiration comes to me, or I'm faced with obstacles or everything else. You'll be part of it. You'll be the first to know. Okay, so until tomorrow, you take care.